We've learned that with carfilzomib we had a very interesting, very different proteasome inhibition and proteasome inhibitor compared to bortezomib, the first in class, epoxy ketone versus borate acid. We've learned that carfilzomib was very, very safe, and that you could increase the dose. Because it's safe, you can increase the dose of carfilzomib from the initial 27 twice a week milligram per meter square, that was the initial dose tested for carfilzomib, to 70 milligram per meter square. Interestingly, maybe one of the most important side effects, and I'm going to call it a side effect, even though in the end it's not a side effect, but one of the most important limitations of carfilzomib is actually not the drug. It's the fact that the way it's given now, it's twice a week, 1, 2, 8, 9, 15, 16 out of 28. And patients can't handle it. They hate it. They love the drug. They love the fact that the drug is active. The drug is IV 30 minutes, so it's IV, could be better, but it's very convenient. It's actually very safe, but the patients are sick of coming to the hospital on a twice-a-week basis. This capability that we had to replace a repeated injection at 27 by a limited number, less frequent visit at hospital, but at higher concentration, that was demonstrated in a series of small studies, gave the idea to the company Amgen to try to run an RO2 study where the patient would either receive 27 milligram per meter square twice a week, 1, 2, 9, 15, 16, or 56 milligram per meter square once a week, plus lenalidomide dexamethasone. We don't have, so the RO2 has wrapped up recruitment. We don't know the results yet, but from the preliminary data we have from the small studies that have been performed, it seemed that it was perfectly active, perfectly matching in terms of activity. Actually, the weekly 56 was much safer, and in terms of quality of life, the quality of life of the patients immensely improved, to the point that in the initial 27 twice a week, carfilzomib was stopped at 18 months, and on a weekly basis, in my experience, you can continue far beyond 18 months, and so the patient will keep benefiting from the carfilzomib if you can give it more than 18 months, because you improve the quality of life, because you give it weekly. So we wait for the RO2 study to change our practice, but for the good to the patients, Amgen is going normally to be able to improve in the way to give carfilzomib, and really the quality of life for the patients will improve enormously.